Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Mr. Brandt and I'm one of the sixth grade math teachers here at Discovery Middle School. I wanted to send this video out to explain this document right here and many that are going to look just like it that you're going to receive throughout the year that our students are going to be filling out on a weekly basis and hopefully be a really great tool to communicate the learning that's happening in our math classes. This is called our tracking sheet, and you're going to get a tracking sheet for each of the big units that we cover, each of the big ideas and topics that we go over in sixth grade math. And this is the very first one that we've started working on this week and this year already. This is our Unit 1.1 area tracking sheet. We're going to do some things different this year, and this is one of those things. And I want to explain those different components in this video, hopefully answer any questions that you might have, and then give you some expectations for what's going to happen this week and in the weeks that follow. So before I get started with this, I wanted to go over some of the new grading words that we're going to use at Discovery. Some of you are familiar with these from schools previous, but Discovery is adopting these words, and we're going to use these to grade and show our progress in math. Those words are on the screen here, being proficient, in progress, and not proficient. And you can see that they all focus on the big learning intention for that unit. So proficient is when our students can successfully show that they understand the learning intention. In progress means they can partially show that they understand the learning intention, and not proficient means that they're still in the early stages and they really haven't begun to take those first big steps yet. So we're going to see these words come up again. And the hard part with math is that it's hard to kind of connect what proficient looks like in math versus in progress versus not proficient. I want to give you some examples to kind of look at and show you what that's going to be for just a generic kind of math problem. And then we'll go back to our tracking sheet for the 1.1 area that we're doing now. So here's one that I kind of made up real quick. This is not one that we're going to cover this year. This could have been one maybe from elementary school, but it's not one that we do in sixth grade. So the big idea, the big learning intention, our focus would be adding units of currency. Something that our students have already done at this point, but here's a kind of basic example that we can use to show how this might look. So the learning intention is I can add units of currency. That's what we're trying to get our students to do, and we're trying to measure to what degree can they do this. How proficient are they at this? And so on your screen here, I have an example of what a P would be, what proficient would be. So I might have a math problem. You see at the top, you see the $3.25 added to $7.37. You see the student example. This might be their work. And you can kind of see this is what a proficient example would be. This student is showing me that they can add units of currency. And there's several things we're looking for. And you can see all those kind of criteria on the side there. But this student is proficient. This one would be an example of in progress. They got a lot of things right. They're showing me that they're not completely confused. They have an idea of what we're doing. This student has been working through the learning process, but they're not quite at that proficient level yet. They're making some mistakes. They're not quite doing all the little details that we saw from the other example, but they're not that far off. This student would be in progress. And then this last example is kind of what a not proficient one would look like. This student example, it clearly has some gaps and some things that they're missing from adding units of currency. They're still in those very first steps, those very first stages. Not that we're going to stop here, not that we're going to just finish at a not proficient, but at this moment in time when this example was done, we're just recording where they're at this example, and that's not proficient. So with that in mind, let's take a look again back at where we're at currently and what this tracking sheet looks like. At the very top, you see our learning intention. This is the big idea. This is what we're focused on in class right now. I can compose and decompose compound shapes in order to find their area. And so I have right below that an exemplar example, a question that you see worked in the picture there, and you see some pencil markings. This is kind of a great all-encompassing question and the work that goes with it that shows me that student can compose and decompose compound shapes in order to find the area. Now, this is not actually what the student did. This was an example I created. And so this kind of gives you an idea of kind of what we're shooting for, kind of what the goal is for this learning intention. And then we take that and we break it down into 3 success criteria. And those are on the left side of your screen where it says success criteria number 1, use the correct area formula for the given shape. Success criteria number 2, I can analyze shapes in order to find their area. And success criteria number 3, I can calculate the area of the whole figure by adding the area for the separate figures. Those success criteria, 1, 2, and 3, are how we're unpacking and how we're learning the big learning intention at the top. We're going to start with success criteria number 1. We actually started that last Friday. We're working through examples and practice and models to kind of get that first one down. And then we're going to move on to the second one and then the third one. And we have all 3 completed. We'll be finished with this unit. We'll take our test and we'll kind of see the big picture come together. And at that point, hopefully, we've shown that we're proficient with each success criteria. And then we'll have the evidence from our test showing that we're proficient with the learning intention altogether. So we're going to do this for the first time this week. We're going to send one of these home. Each student will create their own. They'll track this. They will add things to it as we go on. At first, it will look kind of simple, kind of bare, but we'll add more and more. And you can kind of see already on your screen what this is going to maybe look like. Let me give you an example of what you might see this week from your student. So I've created a sample one where we've put one picture in. We're going to do this in class together. And if you look at that picture, you can see there's a math problem there and there's some work done. You'll be able to click on that and zoom in so you can see a little bit more. But this student has taken a picture. This is from the check-in that we did in class. Think of the check-in like a mini quiz. They've decided that that quiz showed them that they were proficient with success criteria number 1. And they took a picture of it, so we have the evidence there. I can see what they've done. You can see what they've done, and of course they can see they've done it in class. And then they're going to type a little sentence here explaining why they put it in the proficient box. They might put it in progress. They might put it in not proficient. Them and I, the student and I, is going to have a conversation about where it should belong. And then they're going to type up some feedback, and I'm going to also type up some feedback as we continue this conversation. So right now, there's really no grade at this point. This is just week 1. We're not putting a big grade in the grade book. We're not finalized. We're not taking a test. But you can kind of see, okay, week 1, we're moving closer to the end here. We're working our way through the success criteria. And so far, your student is proficient. And you can see that from the picture they've taken, the example they provided, and they've even explained kind of what's going on with their math and their learning. As the weeks go on, I'm going to make some more videos explaining what you should expect as we get to success criteria 2, success criteria 3. But the goal is to build up this tracking sheet with pictures in each of the proficient boxes, showing us that overall we're proficient with composing and decomposing compound shapes in order to find their area. That's going to be a process. That's going to be something that we come together on and we continually tweak and find better ways to use this tracking sheet. But I hope this video gives you kind of an idea of what to expect and what to see this first week as we send it out for the first time. If there's questions you might have and confusions you might have, I would ask that you talk to your student about them and see what they can kind of help you understand. And as we keep doing these and as we have more and more of these, I'd be happy to help answer those questions as well. But the first one will be just kind of simple like this, not a whole lot going on. This is kind of what you should see week 1. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this with me. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask your student and ask myself. We're always happy to help, and we're hoping that this is a great tool that helps parents, helps students, and helps me be on the same page with what we're learning in math class. Thank you again, and have a great day.